Hi, everybody. It's Caitlin here, giving you a little podcast preamble. Sean is currently on a plane right now, so I'm doing it solo. But if you want to see him live, he is going to be in Asheville, North Carolina on July 11th, in Savannah, Georgia on July 12th, and in Charleston, South Carolina on July 13th. Check that out. His website is mispronouncing.com. You can find more information there. As for me, I just released my debut comedy album called Zinger Songwriter on all streaming platforms. So help me stream it, look it up, tell your friends. I'm very excited about it. Also, if you want to see me live, I'm going to be in New York until July 19th. Then I'll be in Kansas City, Missouri from the 19th through the 23rd, in Manchester, England through the 26th to the 29th. And then both Sean and I will be in Edinburgh at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival for all of August. So check us out if you're in any of those places and enjoy this episode. It is one of my favorites.
Yeah. So this week we have a magical guest.
He is truly magical.
He is an if your imaginary friend came to life, it would be your next guest, which is something I say about him a lot. The one and only Mehran Khaghani.
Or as you will find out, butter.
Oh, shit. See, that it's really interesting because you said we're all loud people, and then the first moment of our new guest they hear was a very gentle, almost bedside volume.
Hi, guys.
Of the one, the only. Watch me nail this. Mehran Khaghani.
That's very sweet.
Was that good?
Yeah, absolutely. God, yeah.
Did it.
It's better than the average bear for sure. You know what I mean?
How do you say?
Well, I would say Mehran Khaghani, right?
Okay.
But that's because, that's what we figured out. That's what we landed on as an Iranian trying to get Americans to say her name.
Right,
Otherwise,
right.
as a kid, it was like Moran, Metron, Megatron. I'm telling you, all of that should happen. Moron was bandied about for a long time. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, really?
Why do you think I'm constantly demonstrating my intelligence? But it's because I'm smart. It's not because I'm worried.
That too. You can't help it.
But no, it's Mehran Khaghani, right?
Oh, okay.
Right, but Mehran Khaghani is
Right.
my Ellis Island name.
Right. Your what would it be? Your network approved name.
Huh?
Your butchered Americanized.
Ronnie K.
That was like, I mean, now this is like, because I witnessed this with like Kumail. It happened to him a lot, but I feel like, and especially because you came up in that era of comedy in Boston, where it was like, how many hosts over the years did you watch and go like, are you trying not to be able to pronounce my name?
Like, if they don't know how to say my name, I don't expect them to. Do you know who's the only one Mike Yard?
Mike Yard?
I could tell he tried, he was ready, and he nailed it.
That's
nailed
great.
it. Otherwise, it's the exception and not the rule that a host saying my name for the first time.
I just feel like Iranian and like Middle Eastern names. Well, I guess Iran's definitely part of the Middle East, isn't it?
Yeah, Iran.
There you go. There you go.
It's not,
Sean
it's
also
not
likes
part
to
of the Arab
demonstrate
world.
how smart he is.
Yeah,
He is a very smart.
I like to demonstrate how smart I am by proving that when I say something stupid, I will ask a question immediately after. But
That's smart.
Yeah. But I feel like the names of people from that region are very fucking easy to read. Like they all seem
pretty
very
phonetic,
like
to the most
like you, Kumail Nanjiani. That name, I'm dropping his name now twice. I would watch, but him and I were doing.
Mind you, it's the name. Oof.
But I would watch years, just host after host, just be like, this next guy, come nail Noonji Tooney. It's like, it's phonetic. It's a phonetic name.
I live for Cumnail Ninja Tooney.
Or like,
That's what I'm calling it from now on.
Cumnail Ninja Tooney.
100%. Cumnail Ninja Tooney.
Well, even like Aparna Noncherla. I've watched so many people be like, Aparna nonchalant. It's like, what are you doing? It's right there. Read it.
Like every comedian still says Hassan Minhaj when it's Hassan Minhaj. Is like how he pronounces it.
Hassan Minhaj?
Oh my God, I can't. I honestly can't. If you're going to be a cunt about fucking what syllable your
I don't
name
think
lands
he's
on.
being a cunt about it at all because he never corrects people. He's just like, hello, I'm
Hassan Minaj.
Hassan Minaj.
I love that you did that
Hassan
with like
Minaj.
the chicken poke.
No, literally, it's like it's blowjob.
Blowjob.
Hassan Minaj.
Blowjob poultry.
Yeah. Blowjob.
Blowjob poultry. Yeah, it's just that's names. Names are because like Sean Patton is very.
It's right there.
It's right, but also you'd be surprised how many people will still slip in a Peyton
or a scene.
Sure.
or a scene, which is weird. Every now and again, every now and again,
I've heard
doesn't
it.
happen.
I get a scene. I get a lot of Lyft drivers, and I emphasize Lyft because you get a lot more like woke youngsters. I feel like in a Lyft, driving a Lyft.
Oh, that's
and you'll get like
terrifying.
you'll get like you're seen. I'm like, no.
If I find a hipster named Scene, I promise you there'll be violence. I listen. I'm not here to
Unless he
alienate
drops the A and
any
it's
part
Scene.
of your listening audience.
Yeah.
But if I see a hipster who believes in Scene, this is war.
I will accept a hipster named Scene if they change the spelling to be like SCENE. Like I'm on the scene. I'm
Yeah.
seen on the scene.
And Scene.
Yeah. Or
I'll
and
accept
never
it,
seen them.
but I'll hate it.
Yeah.
I'll be like, thanks, I hate it. That's
Well,
good.
you know that it's not their fault; it's their parents' fault.
That's
but if they
true.
name themselves, then fuck them.
Okay? So we were talking about this right as you came in.
Absolutely.
You live. What would you would categorize as the Upper West Side?
It is. It's
Definitely the Upper
absolutely
West
It's
Side.
no
Upper
question
West
the
Side,
Upper
yes.
West Side, 76 and Broadway.
I thought.
I mean, in case anybody wants to
Yeah,
harass me.
All those Mehran
In case
stalkers out
in case
there.
any scenes out there want to exact their hipster revenge on me.
just
Yeah.
show up and just. Oh
Just
my
pace
God.
the block.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think of how they would. Like what would they even?
Start,
would they
start
do?
picketing.
Yeah.
Sure, they could pick it. They could, make me. They could just start trolling my coffee shop so I don't caffeinate anymore.
Yeah, or just
And I'll be
set
like, I
up
can't
so
go
many
there
like what are so many like vintage yard. You know, you see those like you walk around Brooklyn. It's like, oh, someone's selling 3 pairs of shoes and a box of books.
Good luck doing that in my fucking neighborhood. The fucking
Or just random graffiti art, but it says scene everywhere. So it's just like
Scene.
tagging around you.
scene.
I am the scene.
Oh, fucking garbage people. I have such little regard.
I mean, unless someone went so meta that they spelt their name SCENE, and you're like, is your name Scene? You're like, actually, it's Sean, but so many people pronounced it Scene. So
I love it. I love that more than anything.
Well, no, because like your neighborhood, it's like Manhattan. That's like I feel like up there you've got just like working class, real Manhattan people, New York people,
Old Jews.
Yes.
Jews,
Old Jews.
Okay.
Highest population density in the country.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, more people vote in my neighborhood than anywhere else in America.
Because they got 3 things to do. They got bagels, they got outdoor chess when the weather's nice.
We don't have outdoor chess.
No,
No, there's none of that. No, there was a Barney's. In fact, what we have in our neighborhood now is what's called high-end blight, where
which is
because landlords are holding out for someone to just pay the maximum imaginable amount for rent.
Yeah.
They kick out whoever's in there, and then they don't replace it. Nobody else moves in as a business because they do better with losses than they do on not getting maximum rent. So in my neighborhood, when we moved in, I would say that there was maybe 15% of the storefronts were empty, and now it's probably close to 30 or 40.
so. Wait, they make more. They take
Losing.
losing money.
Yes.
How is that possible?
Yeah.
Real estate. It's weird loopholes with real
that's
estate.
so bizarre.
Yeah.
Tax write-offs, maybe.
All of that
They're
jazz.
just. I don't even.
Well, and it's usually
Yeah.
it's a parent company that owns the building. It's not some poor schlub. It's
Right.
some
Yeah.
conglomerate.
You know what I like? You know what I like to hope in that situation?
That everything catches fire. That
that-
there's regime change.
That the
we become
characters of
really-
Rent move in and refuse to pay anything.
I mean, these are all wonderful suggestions. I was hoping more like this proof that the mafia is still alive and they're actually funneling, goods and packages through these, paying off. I like
through an abandoned Rite Aid on 75th.
I like it. I don't know what it is. I'm obsessed with that idea of New York, where it's still rough and tumble, but they're still bad guys. But if they know you and you're in the neighborhood,
Well, the
they're
bad guys now are Russian and Chinese mafia.
Yeah,
and
I
they
get- yeah.
simply buy real estate to have a place to hide their money.
Do you think that they do any? Do you think that that's how these people make money in those neighborhoods, by kicking out boutique sock?
Well, either way, it's just
You know?
owning real estate is a great way to hide dirty money.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, dirty money.
Dirty money.
I don't know why I'm like
Why it makes you happy? It
I
shouldn't
don't
make you
know.
happy.
It
I
should
mean, there are
not.
humans who should occupy those spaces.
Yes.
There are businesses that should be in those empty spaces. You know, it's and
So
New
much.
York, New York needs to straighten up and fly right. Except once upon a time, where it was like the actual mafia doing all kinds of.
Yeah.
Now it's corporations and other people who are in the good graces of De Blasio.
I tell you, like how long have you lived in New York now?
5 years, but the first time I snuck here, I was 15, so that was 27 years ago.
I guess so. You saw it when it was like.
Is that right? Yeah. Fuck.
Did you see it? Did you see it when it was like?
Oh, the first time I came
Yeah.
to New York, I snuck here on a bus from Boston, and I pulled in at like 3:30 in the morning. And I was walking around the village.
Typical
and I remember-
15-year-old logic.
I remember
Go
this-
get there at 3:30 in the
This
morning.
big
It's fine.
black man looked down at me and was just like, little boy, you need to get off these streets. Like, because I'm like walking around like pulling my little red suitcase behind me. Like I thought I would like maybe go and like look around NYU, see the Tisch school.
Yeah.
Like I was that little kid. He was like, son, this is like, it's,
Yeah.
you look like a mark from space. Like,
Yeah.
you literally can't do this.
Either get back on a bus and go back to wherever you came from, or tell your pimp that you need
I
to.
wish. And the entire time I was trying to get kidnapped, the entire time I was trying to get molested, obviously. And it's never who wants it.
That's such a great soundbite for your special. Just trying to get kidnapped. Ah. But that's
Nobody wants to. Yeah, it's never the one who's like eyeing you. I was like the predator in the case of like being kidnapped. The one who's making googly eyes at you from outside of a hotel, and he's 15.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like even the most horned up, just debaucherous, or the most like morally defunct pedophile would still look at what you just described and be like, too good to be true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Too
my
good to be
God.
true.
They must have
Yeah.
thought it was like,
Yeah.
it was like a Chris Hansen go.
It's
Yeah.
just before
You were an
pre Chris
undercover
Anderson.
police officer that just looked really young.
Yeah. Hey, there's Babyface again. No, it was just.
He's 43. But the pedos love him. They love him. He's like pedo honey.
I wish.
Gross.
I wish I tried so hard.
Pedo Honey is a great band name.
Pedo honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
First,
100%. Yes.
the album, first album is called Kidnap Me.
Yeah. Sure.
Kidnap Me, please.
Sure.
That's great. Wait, so growing up in Boston,
Yeah.
did you feel like that prepared you for moving to New York City? Like, by the time you got here, you're like, I've lived in Boston.
Well, I also lived in New York from like the end of 2000 going into the beginning of 2001. It just like ate all my money, kicked me out. I didn't have a direction. I didn't know what I was doing here.
So you left right before 9/11.
I left, I left months before 9/11. Like I left in April.
Okay, yeah.
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 And then, I was in Miami bartending and I got news of 9/11. And I didn't take it seriously until they hit the Pentagon. And then I was just like, oh, the whole country's gonna. And I was like, I have to run to the ocean. I thought I was gonna like swim to safety. I'm not. I wasn't bright.
I don't think anybody. I would love to if there was a way to see like a hypercut of every single American's reaction.
Sure.
If they, because I don't think anyone reacted in a very logical way. I remember my dad. I was on. I think I've said this before on the podcast, right? But forgive me if I have. But like I was in my first ever chat room, just a random chat room, AOL.
In the morning.
In the
You were up
morning,
that
just
morning.
I'd been up all night, just like whatever, chatting with people, and someone named like Sparkle Pop 420 brought it up, and
My
then
screen name was
yeah.
Sparkle Pony 3. So.
there you go.
Was it actually?
Similar, yeah.
That's
Very
unbelievable.
similar.
Sparkle Pony 3? Was
Yeah.
it?
That was
Whoa!
my first
Holy
screen name.
shit!
Wow, they knew each other before they knew each other.
What?
Oh my God. You didn't know?
Wow! Well, then you're the one who told me about 311. 9/11. I was going to say about 311.
It is 3/11.
You're the one who told me about 311.
I think
Definitely
today
didn't
is
do that.
311. Today is
That's crazy.
Yes.
Today is March 11th.
Not to like date it.
Happy 311 day, everyone. Well, hey, 311 lives on. You know,
The square root of 9.
3. There you go. You know.
Huh?
But like I remember my dad when I woke him up to be like, this is on the news. And then when they hit the Pentagon, well, actually, he's the one who came into the living room going, oh, Jesus, they just got the Pentagon too. And I looked over at him and he was just loading a 38, a revolver.
Oh, fuck.
I was like,
Well, yeah,
what are
no.
you going to do with that, Dad?
That
He's like,
was-
I don't know.
That was the sentiment. I at the time I was a featured drinking bartender. So me and this girl.
What does that mean?
We were in like periodicals around Miami where we would outdrink our bar. So if anyone had a shot at our bar, we had a shot. And that was for everyone in the bar.
No,
so
no.
Was that like a gimmick? The bar? There was like,
and so that was like our thing.
Did you do the Coyote Ugly thing where you would take the shot in your mouth and then spit it into
No,
your beer
no,
as a
no,
chaser?
no, no.
You actually did it.
No, we would drink so hard that like on my day off, I would just shake and eat pizza.
Oh God.
And this was 4 nights a week. So my rule was unless it was someone I knew had died,
Right.
you were not to wake me up because I was getting home at like 9 in the morning,
Of course,
8 in the morning, like beyond the pale drunk, needing sleep because then it was just rinse and repeat. I'd have to wake up and go do it all over again. And my roommate at the time was this like real shisty German kid. And he came banging on my door. He's like, dude. And he had a super lisp. A plane just flew into the towers. and I was like, no shit's given. Like I was literally, I was like, I was a surly alcoholic.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope, I don't care. And then he was like, dude, another one just flew into the tower. And I was like, fuck off. I said, fuck off. And he said Pentagon. And I was just like, I'm up. We're swimming. Get your shit.
I'm a German with a lisp. Mehran, wake up, please.
And then like he like stole money. What a that
Scheisner.
kid. Mike, if you're listening to this, I see you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I
Mike,
see you.
Yeah. Caitlin has a Jew with a
see you,
lisp.
dude.
No, I'm a Jew with a lisp.
I think isn't having a lisp like being an X-Man, you can all locate each other? Like you just close your eyes and locate all the people with lisps?
I don't. I don't know if I've ever met that. Like, I feel like the ratio of cool people with lisps versus uncool, you know?
No. More cool people.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
really?
about
Yeah.
to say, is that a trick?
I think
formula?
more cool
Yeah.
people have lisps.
I think it's only cool people have lisps.
I'm kinda there.
Oh,
Yeah. I used to fake a lisp.
Really?
No, I wouldn't say fake one, but like Janine had such a major impact on sort of like my
Wait, Janine who?
Janine Garofalo.
She had a lisp?
I wouldn't say that she had a lisp. I would say that she had a certain cadence.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, sure.
Do you know what I mean? Where there was like a sibilance, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yes.
Do you hear what
Yeah.
I'm
I
saying?
can hear it right in the way you say that.
And so many other comics, actually copied her and kept it. But
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. The Notebook.
Yeah, sure.
Not just the movie. This.
Well, I mean, the Notebook.
Yeah.
I also bring up because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There are a lot of holes in this old Swiss cheese.
Yeah. And it isn't Swiss cheese without the holes, though. There's this.
But on a long set, you can believe there's a Notebook.
But I mean, but that's another life lesson. Have you ever gotten a piece of Swiss cheese without holes? And you're like, what is this shit? What is this?
I only
true.
go
You don't
lacy. I
trust
only go
it.
lacy. It has to look like a cow's stomach.
Exactly. There you go. So sometimes the holes are what makes it beautiful.
Oh my god!
It's gorgeous.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, you guys! You really tapped into something there. The holes are what make it beautiful. By the way, I'm like severely trypophobic, so the very idea of that, like, I'm having like a minor. It's
Wait,
internal, but it's
allow
a
me
panic
to
attack.
showcase my intelligence once again. Trypophobic?
Yeah, trypophobia.
What is that specifically?
It's a fear of holes and repeating organic patterns, like barnacles
Holy
or eggs.
shit!
And I have like a
Both of my sisters have this. Holy shit!
I have
Just
the
recently
chills
reading
thinking
about it.
Oh, I have major, and ever since I was little, before I'd ever heard about it, before it had a name, I would talk about it with my friends. I'd be like, "Can you look at that like a lotus pod? Are you fucking losing it?" Like, or barnacles. Oh, I have to
yeah.
scratch them all off.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, it's less of a fear. It's more of like a need to destroy whatever it is that looks like that.
Like honeycomb cereal.
Like honeycomb, but that's not so much. That's there's an order to it.
Oh, you mean like in a random pattern?
Like
it has to be like
it's a repeating organic pattern. It's
Oh,
small
I see.
and
like-
big and it's cancer looks like that. I mean, there is a biological imperative that makes us.
And I feel like it also comes from like the human need to like organize things. So when you see a pattern that doesn't make sense to your eyes, it like can really freak you out a lot of the time.
It's also a sign of decay. It is how we decay.
Right. If you burn something, it usually bubbles up.
I'll die if we even talk about it.
I just realized as soon as I said that, I was like,
actually
that probably
lose it.
sounds.
I will full tilt boogie lose it. It is my. I mean.
Yeah.
And it's complete. It's not at all manufactured. There are a lot of Johnny come lately trypophobics who are coming who are self-identifying right now. No, that isn't what's at stake here. I mean, this is a lifetime of suffering.
Yeah.
And-
It's
and-
not like your OCD bit of people being like, "Oh, I hate dust. I'm super OCD." Is like,
yeah.
actual,
Clean your house.
Yeah.
I mean, there is just that, like, no one wants to just be like. I wonder when will we ever get to a point in society where it's hip to be like, no, I'm adjusted and pretty well. Well, I'm good. I don't have any things. I'm a human being. Nothing.
I call those low resistance people. I don't trust them. And don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like there's room for them in the world. There's room for people who had good parents and who ultimately weren't scarred or traumatized. But you know what I mean? Invariably they end up, they're born on third base and they act like they hit a triple.
Yeah.
For the most part, I'm like, I'm very happy for you. I'm so glad that you are the way that you are, but I don't know how much we can really relate to each other.
Yeah, this is where it ends. Oh, good for you. That's really how lovely.
But I feel like there's a lot of people who are that way and who are just like, well, shit. Let me get in the files and see what I can I can doctor up.
Yeah. For something that would make them remarkable.
Yeah. Like you see, like if you read a lot of Facebook, like. Sometimes there's genuine, like, things posted on Facebook, and like, cool. But then sometimes it's like, get the fuck out of here. Like that's
what?
like take that to your. Well, okay. Like, I'm trying not to. I don't want to say anything specific because I don't want to throw anyone specific in the bus.
By the way, I'm off Facebook. I've been off Facebook for about 2 months now, and I'm like genuinely a better person.
You should, Facebook's
I'm not even
hard.
kidding you. I'm not even kidding you. I feel like there is a lightness. There is a total lack of paranoia. I'm not at all nervous about what I'm saying. I don't give a fuck who I'm offending. It is unbelievable how good it is to unplug from that thing.
Well, we're comedians, but also, like, I imagine maybe every profession has the same sort of thing, but, like, where you follow a lot of people who do what you do. But there's a lot of people who are putting out there every single step of their journey and their struggle. And you're like, you have to stop doing that.
Yeah.
You have to take some of this shit on the chin and deal with it internally and work it out yourself and stop putting it out into the fucking internet.
The problem is that there is like an actual endorphin rush when you get that approval. For what and so like candor or revealing yourself is rewarded on Facebook, which is ultimately a data mining platform.
Yes.
So right.
So
it's like it will bump you up in the algorithm if you sort of reveal something incredibly personal about yourself, and then you're going to get like a scant number of whoever likes it, and then those people feel high. They're like, okay, I am approved of.
God, you're right, but
I am approved of,
and
we are biologically programmed to seek approval. It is why our parents don't just abandon us. We are born adorable, and then we lose that adorableness. So then we continue trying to be pleasing, and then we carry that into our adult lives, and we ruin ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Instead of
I want to use that little rant there. It's just like the highlight. Like, join us for this podcast. We're gonna go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah. Also, hear those words and break the cycle.
Absolutely.
Break the cycle. Don't post every fucking
Stop trying
second.
to be adorable.
Get the hell off of Facebook.
Yeah.
What's it going to take? Like, they helped get a despot elected. They are selling your information to the
every market,
so that you can be tracked, so that you can be understood, so that you can be sort of marketed to, and that like you're already going to be in debt from cradle to the grave. But now you also have to buy something you absolutely don't need because they're exploiting your insecurities because you've given them all of your insecurities. At some point, you have to be like, these people are unpardonable. I am pulling out. Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, they need they need to just say, what if Facebook just endorses R. Kelly? And then it's like, no, okay, all right, no.
Facebook is canceled.
Yeah, but then...
and that's tea.
If Facebook became a show on Comedy Central, then it would finally get canceled.
Would that the lot of it were canceled.
Did. Well, but that, you see that? No, that is good. That is, everyone I know and respect... Of all the people I know and respect, I'm going to say roughly 60% of the people are following this path that you're doing. Where you're just like, pulling out. And like, I would love to systematically just wean myself off of it all.
I'll still go on Twitter and I'll holler
Twitter,
the occasional thing.
Instagram I enjoy,
is like not the worst.
Yeah.
I don't have a Twitter because I hate it.
Yeah.
I like Instagram.
No, and it's a loathsome platform, and it is also full of bots, and it is also trying to sort of galvanize people towards triggering them and getting them to re-engage with the platform because someone said something that offended them, and like People rally around idiot causes because the bewildered herd doesn't know what to believe in anymore. All of these things are true.
Right.
That being said, like it's also 280 characters to make fun of Kellyanne Conway. Go for it.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I'm on
yeah,
Instagram.
yeah.
I also think it's garbage a lot of the time. It's like my friend once told me this metaphor of it's like everyone lives on a mountain and there's one little flower patch on the mountain, but everyone's just posting pictures of the flower patch. So you're like, why isn't my mountain covered in flowers? I only have this little flower patch.
I'm
just because
crying.
you're seeing everyone fucking posting that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Also, I'm very
Jeez.
like visually inconsistent. Like I will have a puffy day. My hair will be uncooperative. I can't commit to Instagram.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And then like I'll see people who have Instagrams where it's just like it's pictures of cats and road signs and it's like they're amateur photography. No. It is for you to present yourself so that other people can covet what you look like.
Do you ever think that is your consistency? The inconsistency is your consistency?
I if I were to even think about, my brain would explode.
Yeah. It would create an organic pattern of holes.
Yes.
All right.
I am the organic pattern of holes.
There you go. Which is, again, a great album title. Or
Oh, that is
Organic pattern
by,
of
what was the one before? Pedo Honey?
Pedo Honey.
Pedo honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, the very premise of the show.
The
Yeah.
very premise. 5 words. Can you? We'd like to hear a
I'm
story
giving
from
you
Wait.
five words that encapsulate a story that I know,
Do it.
right?
Do it.
And then you two are going to have a guess at that story. That's how this thing works. Okay. So my 5 words are
Go.
gerbils,
Yes.
techno,
Yes.
litter, cannibalism, lesbians.
Oh my God.
German, techno.
Gerbils.
Gerbils.
Gerbils, techno, litter, cannibalism, lesbians. Now, this, based on how well we know each other,
Yeah.
and our friendship,
Yeah.
what I think what probably happened here was you as a young gay man, and I feel like this was, I'm going to say it was a ploy by Petco to did Richard Gere ever put a gerbil in his butt? Probably not. It was probably false.
What?
But Petco,
You've never heard about the Richard Gere gerbil in the book?
Vague recollection of
Right,
what's
right,
happening,
right.
but
I'm thinking
yeah.
it was a conspiracy by Petco to get people to buy more gerbils.
Right,
Okay.
right.
To save them from Richard Gere's ass?
Right. So just
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, but then, Mehran, you probably came across one of these gerbils that had been bought up in this fury, in this gerbil grabbing scam,
Yeah.
and it escaped, and you found it, and it was your friend Raul. You named it.
Yes.
Right?
Raul
You
the
named-
gerbil.
Raul the gerbil. Now. Your favorite thing to do with Raul, as everyone knows, with any pet, is to kind of like listen to music with the pet. A lot of people do that. People,
Yeah.
they bring their pets to concerts, they bring them to music shop. You, of course, techno.
Sure.
Techno.
Well, you discovered that Raul would like go crazy on his wheel to the beat of the techno. You were really like, you discovered
Yeah.
that and you were like, Raul loves techno.
Loves
Guys are
techno.
on the nose.
And then all of a sudden, Raul turns out to be a Raula because, whoops, female. You only discovered this when you took it to a gerbil mixing party and
Yeah.
it got frisky with it. And you were
Yeah.
at first proud. You were like, oh my God, this is why
Raul-
Raul and I identified. No,
Yeah, 'cause
Raul's a lady.
is a lady
Yeah.
and she's a lesbian gerbil.
Right? But we all remember, and I didn't want to bring this up, and it's a painful time, but we all remember the great rodent cannibalizing
Massacre,
massacre of the early aughts, specifically in Massachusetts. So
When Raul ate.
well, say it.
As
Okay,
opposed
so
to eating Raul.
Yeah.
Yes, Raula and her lover, which you had adopted.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was already pregnant because they're lesbians; they can't procreate together.
Right.
One of them was already pregnant because she was a bi gerbil,
Right.
and so she had babies. And Raula got very jealous, and as we all know, gerbils will sometimes eat their young. So there was the great massacre where you came home, the techno's still blaring,
Yeah.
and you just find. Oh my goodness, little bloody gerbil babies, which is also a terrible band name.
All right. And that's when you made the decision to never have another pet ever again. We all know this about you. You're not big on animals.
Oh my God, animals are my everything, but yeah.
So you didn't find a gerbil, adopt it, teach it to love techno, find out it was a woman, then come home after it and its lover had become
Ate the
jealous of
litter
its
of
own
baby
litter and eat.
gerbils.
That's not what happened?
Okay, let me tell you something. You guys are frighteningly close.
What?
You guys are frighteningly close.
Okay.
So my very first apartment ever, I lived with these two girls, and
Okay.
you know, it was a really weird. We were all very young,
Right.
and one of our bonding exercises as roommates in a 1-bedroom apartment, 3 of us living there. It was a bit tight. We were young, dumb. We adopted 2 gerbils, and we thought we would get 2. So that they would be friends. Then one of them did turn out to be pregnant.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
So weird.
Yeah. Okay.
Right around this time, those 2 girls moved out. I kept the apartment. I still had the 2 gerbils, and I was getting deep into raving and techno. So
Right.
I would disappear for days at a time, just leave food in the cage for the things, for the gerbils. But then coming home one time from a rave, one of them had made babies. And so what you're supposed to do, the dad
Right.
will eat the young.
Really?
Because it
Oh.
competes. It competes for attention and whatnot. So the
Fuck
dad,
yeah.
so we separated these 2 gerbils into 2 different cages. And they kept they would scratch for each other all the time, constantly. Just, they were trying to get back at each other and be with each other again.
Wait.
And we had seen them fucking.
Right.
We had observed these gerbils fucking.
Right. That happens with good techno. That'll happen.
Right. Honestly.
That's the point, you know?
And I was very
Yeah.
ecstatic, so my hormones were in the air, and the 2 of them were they were enthralled with my own sort of sex pheromones. And the other one that we had separated, who we thought was a male, turns out she was pregnant too. She also had a litter of babies. Turns out when we had seen them fucking that they were ducking out on each other, that they were 69ing and licking each other's gerbil pussies.
Right.
And then sort of love forlorn, so saddened by their forced separation,
Wow.
they both independently ate all of their young.
Wow.
They both cannibalized all of their own babies, which doesn't happen. And I came home from a rave, and there was one lone baby
Whoa.
left alive, and
of the babies.
and it was sickly, and I was
Oh,
on
no.
so much ecstasy
I was about to say
that I was like, no, what have I done? Like, I hated myself and couldn't forgive myself, and I was squeezing grape juice into my hand and trying to resuscitate a gerbil, and ultimately just left it in the grass to fend for itself. It is the worst animal parenting I have ever done.
Wow.
I carry this guilt with me every day.
Oh my goodness.
But no, I have since become a very good animal parent.
You said earlier, or it was one of us said earlier, maybe all 3 of us said, like, people have scars and that makes them better people. Did any of us say that at all?
Sure, well, maybe not today, but at some point, yeah.
Some point we're broken and then we fix ourselves to be better. Like that's you're probably the best animal parent possible out there.
I am an exceptional animal parent. We just got my partner's mom's dog was very sick, was hospitalized twice this summer. She was down to 16 pounds. Normally these dogs weigh about 32 pounds. She was half her normal weight. We resuscitated her in her 15th year of life. This dog is like running around, is able again. Like, I am a good animal parent now. But in the case of these 2 dead gerbils, I really dropped the ball.
Fuck.
Well, that's advice to all of you listeners out there. If you're in an extreme techno raving phase, don't adopt.
Now is
lesbian
not the time for
gerbils.
parenting.
No, now is not.
Yeah.
I just
don't make a baby.
And remember, and apparently that gerbil puss is so good. The only way to replace it is with little young gerbil bodies.
And you can't you can't that it was very heteronormative thinking of me to assume that these 2 gerbils who were making love were
Well, I mean, both
straight.
of them were pregnant separately
I
before
had
you
no
got
idea.
them. That's crazy.
Yeah, they were pregnant separately.
That is.
Yeah.
A mess.
That's
It
one
was
of
a
those like
mess.
make a wish because this is a cosmic situation.
But you guys got alarmingly close, and I feel like maybe I gave you words that were
you
too
did-
on the nose.
I don't think
That's
so.
okay.
Or
No,
they
that-
were like pretty much
Yeah.
the key words of that story.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
litter.
Should I have been? Should I have misdirected more?
No, because with litter, I was unclear up until the end if we were going to go with a litter of gerbil babies
Yeah.
or like the litter in the cage.
Yes.
Like cat litter.
Yeah, I was thinking litter just on the street,
Yeah,
personally.
and I didn't know if we were going to go gerbil
was hoping.
lesbians or just lesbian friends
Or if it
of
was
yours.
other lesbians. Yeah.
I mean, that was no, I don't think those are.
It's the worst. It's among the worst things I've ever done.
I mean, but that's
Thank you for sharing it with us.
yeah.
A lot of
Well,
people wouldn't go on a podcast and talk about
Here,
that.
it's the truth. It's my truth. I mean, it was how many years ago now? I was what, 18 on the nose. So
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Yeah,
so it was,
real young.
Yeah, 24 years ago.
A young Mehran. Well, I'm trying to think what your hair looked like.
Oh, I mean, I wore makeup every day.
Yeah, shaved head? No, no.
Yeah, well, very
Buzz,
short
yeah,
buzz cut.
yeah.
Big old stovepipe Jenko pants.
Yes.
Or UFO pants.
Oh hell yeah.
You know, fur coats and soccer jerseys, everything skin tight.
Soccer
Man.
jerseys.
If you
stacked
have
shoes.
pictures,
Oh, of course
when
I have pictures.
We will post them on our Instagram when we
I mean,
air this episode.
what's crazy is like I didn't realize this, but allegedly, but I've heard it enough now. The raves, started in New Orleans. Like, yeah, like not the music, not techno, like that all kind of found its way there, but the idea of like the way what raves became started in New Orleans with a rave called Zulu, which is named after one of the parades of Mardi Gras that happens.
I would
during
believe
Mardi Gras.
it.
Yeah, right. But I remember because we're roughly the same age. We're pretty much dead on the same age. I remember the late '90s, mid-late '90s, going to these raves. And based on what I saw, there are some people that probably went home to far more fucked up shit than.
I mean,
gerbils.
I was just
'Cause
reading up about
you saw some really twisted, weird shit
the
at
Party
those.
Monster
Yeah.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
did you guys ever
Those
see
are
that?
club kids in the
Those
store.
Yeah,
are,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I was a little too young for this, but I was just like reading up on that whole.
If I can be a
time.
dick for a second,
Please
we
be a dick.
looked down our noses at those club kids.
Really?
Yeah, because
They were,
for-
they were
well,
like,
no, I mean, like they really wanted to fit in a
Yeah.
scene and make a splash, and for us, it was like the exact opposite. We were like trying to create like a culture and a
Get away
society
from
that
it,
was
yeah.
like loving and
Yeah.
that was separate from this like idiot world of like hierarchies and pluses and minuses and,
cliques and-
yeah,
yeah.
and all of that gooberishness. And so, you know,
Oh, yeah.
all of those kids cared so much about status and shit like that, and we were just, you know, meanwhile we were like trafficking drugs, like proper
I remember like
proper rebels.
the first rave I ever went to was the summer of 1995, and it was in a bar on Frenchman Street in New Orleans that had been closed forever. That suddenly its doors were open for one night, and all of us were too young to get into bars, so we were just like, let's go. Well, actually, I take that back. No, we were because we were all like 16. But like we go, and it was this thing where it was like one DJ, same music all night, one light board, just changing colors, and two guys. One had ecstasy. I'm making quotation marks because it was that's what they call it. It wasn't. Now it's called Molly. We're talking about MDMA before it was forced to choose a gender. Okay, back when it was just called ecstasy.
Amazing.
You know,
Amazing.
But then like. And then the other guy had acid, and you just whichever one you wanted to. What did you want to do? Did you want to trip? Did you want to roll? Did you want to troll?
Candy flip.
Yeah. and then I remember a few years later, Special K started appearing.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, the shirts started to get brighter. Then there were more light boards, and then like the venues got bigger. And then all of a sudden, you started seeing the girls who you knew were cheerleaders or on the dance team at your high school who would never fucking acknowledge you.
Their jaws are
they
going
would
coast
never
to
acknowledge
coast,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But their jaws are just swinging because they've taken too much still ecstasy. I don't think it was called Molly till the 21st century.
It was called meth and heroin.
Yeah, exactly. And like all of a sudden they're there, and you're like, "What are you doing here?" And it's like, "Oh, this is over." And then all of a sudden the bubbles start coming from the. They start releasing the big bubble baths from the ceiling, and
All the
now
tricks.
there's 12 different fucking DJs and Rabbit in the Moon.
Sure.
Remember Rabbit in the
Sure.
Moon? That was such an interesting thing.
that?
That was one guy,
Helmets and performance
one
art.
guy playing, one guy techno, and the other guy in like a sparkly. That's what I remember. it to
Sure,
being,
no.
like,
There
dancing
was like a
around.
performance art aspect and also an electronic
It was actually
music
interesting, yeah. But it was still like,
Rabbit in the
it
Moon.
went so fast. One of the most fucked up things I've ever seen done to a human being, it still has implanted this sort of massive OCD tick for me, or fear. But but I saw it happen to a guy. You remember when like the jocks started raving?
Sure.
You
Oh,
remember
that was like, are
Okay.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
It was like literally, it was just raining dick. Like
Okay.
all these dudes who were like, I think I'm ready to experiment. And I mean, I was weapons grade beautiful. Like that. This is now. This wasn't just like it wasn't just like pretty. It was just like I'll take him. And
weapons grade.
it was. It was just
another great special title.
And no, they were all like, it's like they're going to experiment on this drug. It's like by all means, you know what I mean?
See, you must wait. What? This was in Boston.
And around like New England, New York, we went Connecticut, we went everywhere.
Maybe because it was
New
the South,
Hampshire.
but I see as I remember it. Also because I'm not. Maybe because I wasn't gay. But like when I remember when the jocks started showing up to raves, that was bad. Those were the bad times.
It was like there were like
you know?
New Hampshire pieces of garbage that would
Right,
happen.
right.
We would go to Manchester every now and again. There was this abandoned theater, and there were some fucking hoods like
Yeah.
that, like. And also, you know, like with anything, as soon as meth enters the picture, now it's like it's not quite the same loving spectrum as it was when it was just like a bunch of us in the woods partying to like Heather Hart Rain, and it was all amazing.
See, I remember the dudes who would show up with their like borrowed soccer jersey.
Sure.
And they're like, you know, Jinkos that they fucking probably took off. Of some, you know, or
Rob,
yeah. Or like
some kid OD'd on GHB.
Right. Or they like didn't know what Jinkos were, so they just bought like baggy Tommy Hilfiger jeans and cut the bottoms off. You know, but they would show up, and for the first couple of hours they're on X, so they're being like nice and friendly, and then the X starts to wear off, and that's when the cocaine comes in because someone always had blow, and that's when it would be like, oh, guess what? Now fights are starting.
It's like the worst.
Now
drug
that
to
sort of
chase
shit.
ecstasy
Yeah,
with.
exactly. Now you got fucking people like that weird anger kicks in after the X wears off, which for some people and like it was fighting.
It's amateur
weird.
hour. That's always the problem. It's like
Yeah.
people who don't know how to party and they don't know how to keep it fun and cool. It's like people are constantly forgetting that the first word in recreational drugs is recreational. Like I can't. It's like you assholes are not even having fun anymore. Like
all they hear is wreck though. They're like wreck.
Oh, mess. Yeah,
I gotta be a fucking wreck.
Yeah. If I can, you know, that I hope to leave. As my legacy in this world, like one, make sure that like drugs are still fun and how to do them safely. I would love to get that word out before I die.
You remember how a lot of hardcore ravers, you probably did too, had nicknames? You remember people, or did the people have handles? Where it wasn't like, it wasn't Mehran Khaghani, it was like Butter or what?
Do you know about that?
No, I don't know about that. What? No.
Was it Butter?
Was it Butter?
This is so weird.
This is super.
Really? Are you serious?
Was it actually?
The butter.
What?
Well, you guys, I'm seriously like I'm about to like it's like a Ouija board feeling right now, and I don't feel good about it.
We just proved that this is a simulation. I tapped into it.
I'm okay, dead serious, and then I think I can't, but There was a rave called Spring-Elation, and it was thrown at UMass Amherst. It was thrown in the basement of the student union there, and I was like a fixture in the rave scene. And so on the back of the flyer, they thanked me. Right?
Okay.
But they were also trying to thank. There was a dorm called Butterfield where all the fucking acid heads and weirdos and dropouts all lived, and they all had their own kitchen. It was very much their own communal dorm.
Right.
So they were trying to thank the Butter. After they thanked Mehran, but instead there was no comma, so it said Mehran the Butter.
I mean, it makes. That's what. Okay, but then
You freaked me out so badly
So nuts.
by tuning into that.
I think though that
you know,
it's your personality. But there again, that is the vibe I get from you. If I were the person handing out rave handles, I'd be like, oh, that's the Butter.
God damn it!
Because butter can mean so many things.
It was a
money,
total
cocaine,
accident. That's so
actual butter. But you know, but it's delicious. You know,
Yeah.
delicious. Bad for you, yet good, but so good. All of these things fit the Mehran brand.
Isn't that terrifying?
That is so scary.
Which brings it.
Those of us who've raved, no.
No, there
We
is
can
a
see in the-
psychic attunement. Your alpha waves are like
guess so.
spiking like crazy.
I was too young for raving, so I didn't know about this nickname thing. So anyone that's listening to this, I want to hear about your rave nicknames. Did you have one?
I mean, no, I didn't. But I can say this: you could have just kept your AOL handle, Sparkle3 or
Sparkle Pony 3.
Sparkle Pony 3.
yeah.
That'd have been perfect for like early. No, but okay, what I was this is the thing I saw that's fucked with my head forever. But a dude, I mean, whatever, it's fucking been 20 something years, but I can use their code names. But there was a guy named Super. So it was interesting that your response to me nailing butter was you saying super. I was like, this is some in tune shit. Yeah. But
Super
the guy
weird.
who just went by Super, who was like one of these promoter jock types.
Sure.
But he was a real prick. He was
Yeah.
he was just a bully bitch ass. Like the guy who just like, if he saw you like he did me once and hadn't seen me around enough before, was just like, who's this guy? Why is he here? It's like, I'm new to this. I'm 17.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're 25. What do you mean? What am I? Don't you want new people?
Yeah.
Don't you want the kids
Isn't that
coming
his
up in this
job?
shit?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
weird.
but he was job, but also those fucking guys made money. But
Yeah,
anyway,
they did.
he was up in my friend PJ's face. This guy, you've met PJ.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it to you like this. My friend PJ, big raver back then, now such a stoner. At another friend's wedding a few years ago, he goes to the bathroom and he's gone forever. And finally, we're all getting texts like, help, I'm locked in the bathroom. He wasn't locked in the bathroom. It was just a sliding door.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
So he just couldn't.
He
He's
was
like,
just
it won't
too
open.
high, he forgot.
That's how he is now. Very good
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
We all love PJ. But Super and PJ did not get along. So Super's up in his face and behind his back, he had a 40, by the way, a 40 of St. Ives.
Sure.
He's drinking. He had set it down. One of PJ's boys went up and dumped an entire vial of liquid acid into this dude's
Into Super's
beer. Into his 40. And we all saw it happen, but it was like, and then he's like, fuck you. If I see you again, bye-bye. Finished talking shit. PJ, of course, didn't do anything because he also saw what had just happened. Super turned around, took a shit, walked off with it. And we were like, what did you just do? He's like,
He would
fuck
be
'em.
institutionalized
Fuck
for
'em.
sure.
Well,
Yeah.
we all also saw when it kicked in. When you see someone who starts tripping full blast and they
Yeah.
don't know why.
Yeah.
Now
Oh
he
my
obviously
God.
could.
I never megadosed. I had friends who megadosed
Fuck
and
that.
stuff, and I
That
never
is
did.
a huge fear of
Yeah.
mine.
But seeing his reaction, a guy who up until then, the 4 or 5 times I'd interacted with the guy, he was an asshole. He was just a mean person, a piece of shit. But seeing him in that moment where you're like, oh, that's genuine fear.
Yeah.
Even though he can probably deduce what happened. He's in a rave.
Afterwards,
maybe
maybe
afterwards.
not
But
while
once
he's
it's all
starting.
like.
I had a buddy lose
Yeah.
about 3 days.
Yeah. But seeing him where they had to like hold him down and
Yeah.
like put him in a car and they
Yeah.
just drove off with
Yeah.
him and you didn't see him for a while, it was like,
Hospital.
yeah, like
friend
that's
was
the
in a
kind of.
hospital.
I would
when he came
rather
to.
I would rather you shoot me. I'd rather you open fire
Meh.
and hit me with a bullet.
I'd
than-
rather you
yeah.
not dose me.
I'd rather just don't dose me. I'd do anything else.
I'd rather
It's.
say so.
I mean, it is the wrongest thing you can do to a person.
It is a
I mean,
fuck-
because like
Yeah.
you can barely sort of gauge your sanity when you do it willingly. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
That,
yeah.
That to
Yeah,
have it like
yeah.
be this like sudden onset.
Yeah.
Right? Because at least when you're doing it and you're coming up and you start to freak out, you can be like, it's okay. Like, no one's ever like died from just doing this
Yeah,
little
you-
amount, or we're all
Stay
in the
with
same
me. Stay
place,
with me.
whatever. But if you don't know what
Yeah.
the fuck is happening,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'd lose my mind.
mean-
Also, it's like although our young brains are just so vulnerable.
Right.
Yeah. And also, it's like imagine if we were both on some heavy shroomage when we had this moment of the butter.
Of the butter,
Oh my God.
I would have run away from you.
I know.
Physically run away
Right
from
now, this podcast would be happening on the street, us
Yeah.
chasing you down.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Being
No.
like, Mehran,
I said no.
Mehran, I am not the darkness. I am not the darkness.
I mean, that was really intense. That was very psychically
Yeah.
sweet.
I think my rave nickname would have been Owl Boy because that was my thing.
I see that.
All of my life, that was like growing up. All
You
my
were
friends were
owl-like.
like, "You look like an owl."
Yeah.
People would just do that when I walked into a room. All my friends.
Yeah.
That was a constant thing. Like, oh, and I'd back, and it was just. That would have
I
been.
really wish I could roll my R's.
Try it right now.
I can't. No,
She can.
I have such a tiny tongue.
God bless you.
Wait, will you show Mehran your tiny tongue?
Can I see it?
Caitlin thinks this is a tiny tongue. It's
This is
not
me
that-
trying to
It's
touch
smaller.
the
It is
top
a
of my
smaller
nose.
tongue.
It's because I have the thing where I'm tongue tied. Like that
got it.
thing
Uh-huh.
underneath is really far out.
Yeah.
So That's as far as I can
I
go.
don't
Touch my nose.
I don't have a
No,
big tongue.
I have a giant
Yeah.
white hairy tongue. It is just. It's a
I mean, have you ever
nightmarish cow
seen a
tongue.
beautiful tongue?
It has
They're
its own-
Oh my
weird.
god, I love a beautiful tongue. When I see them, I'm like, how gently you've lived.
Also, your tongue has its own tongue, like Alien.
Yeah, that I mean, really, it's
Yeah.
I will the lengths I will go to, and I'm conscious of it when I'm on camera.
Yeah.
I will not show my tongue. Yeah.
Except
so
for I mean, are we talking to the Gene Simmons of stand-up comedy right now? What if that became like your thing?
Having the ugliest tongue in creation.
Like just like at the end of your set, you
Gene's
just
tongue
stick
was
out
at
your
least like a
tongue.
white. It was like a
Miley Cyrus
reddish
covered
pink.
that.
I'm saying mine is like covered in like, and I will brush my tongue. Like I will really go at it, and still, it's
Yeah.
just. It's a thrushy, like I'm sure Chinese medicine would look at me and think I was going to die just based on the texture and color
Or
of my
like,
tongue.
or like scrape it off and rub it on their on skin. And be like, oh, look how good this is for my
Yeah, and they're
skin.
healing.
Your tongue might be healing. Might have some healing factor.
Many men would probably say so.
a different sort of healing.
My tongue heals balls.
Oh,
man.
that was perfect. Wait, where are we at?
Are we there?
Yeah, we're
I mean,
there.
I cannot think of a better
It's a good
way
way
to
to end
end
it.
your
Your
episode
tongue heals
with such a
balls.
declarative statement.
With such an on-brand statement.
Yes. And speaking of your brands, can you tell us where we can find you?
Okay,
though?
I'm really crap. I should have thought about this at like the onset of social media, but I
Yeah.
didn't. It's at the Mehran on Instagram, and it's at Mehran X on Twitter. They should all be the same thing. I'm just shit at all of this.
Whatever.
And
Go-
then I perform, and
Yeah.
and it's also themehran.com.
See Mehran perform as soon as you can.
It's a treat.
It's an event. That's what it is when you're on stage. It's
very kind.
you're a one person festival of like all things entertainment. You're hilarious, and I also say this a lot, but you are like if the good version of everyone's imaginary friend came to life. I say that a lot. I say that a lot. I say that a lot when you're on
Yeah.
stage. I've said that so many times when I go off on stage after when he's hosting and brings me on. I'm like, don't you wish that was your imaginary friend growing up? Imagine how much you
really
know
good
about leathers.
description.
I love you both very, very much.
And the journey we took today went through. Good God, where do we start? Where did we start? We started with what's it called? The phobia, trypophobia, and we ended with raves.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the
And
journey
ball licking.
and ball
Bollocking.
Yeah.
And gerbils.
and
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 pedo
dykes.
honey.
Yeah. And pedo
Thank you,
honey.
Detroit. We are pedo honey.
and good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
I was gonna write a techno song about lesbian gerbils fucking, but I hate techno and that song shouldn't exist.